episode of the Ford Deluxe Barn Find.
We were told by the owner of this car that this was converted to a 12-volt system. Now, that was incorrect.
Oh, that's disgusting. Look at that.
The latest one I found was August of '96.
But it just tore right off and made a mess of coolant all over the floor. All right, so it's a new day. I'm full of life and optimism because I actually haven't started working on the Ford yet. I'm sure that will change very quickly as I begin to start taking this master cylinder off to replace it with the new one. I've researched a little bit how to get it out. It looks even worse than I expected it to be, and I expected it to be terrible. So at least we have a big hole in the floor here. Before there would just be a little hatch, but like, you know, I can actually get to like the side of the frame over there and stuff a little bit. And if this would have had dual exhaust, if it was a V8, there'd be a big exhaust pipe there in my way. So also nice, it's an inline six. That's not the case. There's the old crusty master cylinder. And here's the brand new unit. Goes on, you know, something like that, I think. Yeah, like that. Looks nice. And if this doesn't fix our brake problem, I mean, we have wheel cylinders for it, but I think that master cylinder is just clogged with rusty garbage. And hopefully, yeah, that fixes it. And this process is not as bad as I think it's going to be. The one thing I'm hoping is that none of the bolts round off. I do have line wrenches, which should help. You know, they have extra sides to the wrench rather than just grabbing it on two of the sides. It grabs it on. So that's nice. I guess I'm just gonna get after it, start unbolting stuff. I mean, the brakes don't work, so they're either gonna not work with this master cylinder in it, or they're gonna not work because it's halfway taken apart. So either way, they don't work. So there's really nothing to lose if you think about it. So I'm gonna set this GoPro up and I guess just get after it. All right, a little bit of a progress update. As you can see, this job only takes a couple of tools, so really not that involved. There's some of the hardware I've gotten out so far. New master's still there, if you hadn't guessed. I did make some progress though. It's a little bit later in the day than I'd like to admit for the amount of progress I've made, but I got, you can't really see, that little piece off down there. It's bolted on one end to the transmission and the other end goes to the linkage for the brake basically. Or the clutch, I mean, sorry. It's connected to the clutch on the other side. And then we got the bolt for this fitting off down here that was almost stripped, which was super fun. And then the thing I just did was took the bolt off over here. You probably can't even see what I'm talking about. That holds in the end of the pin that goes through the clutch. So basically there's this pin right here. There's this pin right here that you see is now partially slid out of the master cylinder. Let me clip this to my shirt. Basically, this pin here runs through the master cylinder, through the frame, and then through the end of the clutch pedal over here, and then out the other side, and there's a bolt that clamps it in place so that it doesn't, you know, back itself out, although it can't back itself out because that little U-shaped piece down there is connected to this end of this pin, and the other side's bolted to the transmission, so it's super rigid. So I don't know, you know, whatever. Probably so the clutch pedal doesn't slide off. But anyway, so in order to take the master cylinder off, you gotta get off that fitting. All the brake lines can stay, which is great, because I don't feel like stripping brake lines. Then you have to take off these two bolts that were on the side. I got one of them out so far. I couldn't get to the other one because the stupid end of this pin was in the way, so I started working on the pin, which meant getting off that U thing. And I finally got to the point where I got this pin to slide out of the master cylinder. So basically I have to slide this pin until it goes far enough to butt up against the transmission and can't go any further. Then take this other bolt out of the side of the master and slide the whole thing off, and then there should be a C-clip up here somewhere or something holding it to the brake pedal itself. And there's the return spring down there I gotta take off for the brake pedal. So this sucks. The engineers that designed this system obviously knew they weren't going to be the ones working on it. So they're like, screw it, we're going to make this super stupid and super dumb and terrible to work on. And luckily, like I said earlier, I have a big hole in the floor. I can't imagine how crappy this would be if it was just a little porthole hatch here from factory. I mean, the fact that I had this is the only reason I've even made it this far, because I don't want to be on my back in gravel and on my knees. I already have been. For a lot of it, I had to crawl underneath the car. But it's not fun. So whoever designed this, screw you. This is why I like Chevys. But I'm still gonna do it and get it working. Hopefully this gets the brakes working, because I've spent way too much time on this already. And if this doesn't work, I might cry. But we do have wheel cylinders as well. We might as well install and the rubber lines that go from the hard line to the wheel cylinder on all four corners. So we'll probably end up doing that anyway, but this was by far going to be the hardest part. And so this is where I'm starting, because we knew this was bad. So yeah, I guess I'll set this camera back up again. I stopped recording for a while, so you missed all of this progress. Not that it was very interesting to watch anyway, which is why I'm explaining it now. But I'm going to continue on and see if I can prevail even further. All right, I'm recording this on my phone because the GoPro ran out of battery. But finally, this new master cylinder is in. I put fluid in it, it's full. I bled it a little bit. We still need to bleed the wheel cylinders though, because the brakes still aren't working, but we should be able to replace the wheel cylinders and bleed them. There's no leaks anywhere on it, which is good. Got the sensors and the lines bolted back up, the little bracket that bolts to the transmission, all the return springs, the brake pedal back on. Everything functions and returns like it should. That was way worse and took way longer than even I thought it was going to, and I thought it was going to be terrible. So just so you know, if you need to replace brakes or do brake work on a Shoebox Ford, pay a shop to do it, because I mean, I can do it. I'm not even that mechanically inclined, but it just took a little bit of time. The sun was like, I don't know, there when I started. Now the sun's over there. So you do the math. You do the math on the sky time there. But it's done now, so we can finally move on to other parts of the braking system. At least that's on. That was a huge ordeal. And again, luckily there was this big hole in the floor, because with that little factory hatch that would have been above it, I'm not sure that I would have been able to do that. And I'm wondering if that's why the hole in the floor right here exists in the first place. Although that master looked extremely old. I don't know if it's original, but it's definitely been there for a while. But new one, old one, success.
All right, so this has been a huge pain in the ass. They have been seized on there, and so what we did was buy a drum puller so we can mount this here, put our handy dandy impact on it. We usually beat the hell out of these until they pop off. These were not popping off, so I had to buy a specific drum puller to pull these drums, which I think is kind of unnecessary, but for this, absolutely necessary, because they were not budging. We spent entire 3 hours trying to remove them when we'll probably just pop off doing this. So there we go. Wow. So now what we have to do is replace those wheel cylinders. We're most likely going to reuse these pads and hardware. So the guy's on a budget again, so we're trying our best to do what's best for the car. So, all right, well, cool. That probably not good for the drum, but it is what it is. You can kind of see where it attached in some places. A little rusty, but no big deal. All right, so check this out. I don't really want to get my hand dirty, but I'm gonna show you guys. Look, I'm gonna pop this dust cover off. Look at that. We thought this was gonna work, but I have a great feeling that this will not work. So good thing we bought these. So we're replacing these now.
All right, so a little update. Rear brakes are bled. We just did that. We got new rubber lines, or the single rubber line that goes to the junction block on the back. New wheel cylinders on the back. New wheel cylinders on the front. New rubber lines on the front. We just have to bleed these front two brakes, and none of the lines are leaking so far. They bled just fine. Hopefully those bleed just fine. The car runs on its own fuel now. We got a new fuel pump. It runs and drives, starts up great. Dash lights and stuff work. Gauges all seem to work. The only thing that doesn't really work electrical wise are the headlights, but we think it's just bulbs that popped. So we gotta get new bulbs for it. And then we're gonna try to drive it, maybe. We gotta put the seat back in it first, but once we have these bled, it'll run and stop. I was just doing an update while you were gone for the video. All right, so we put the seat in very temporarily. As you can see, we didn't even cover up the hole in the floor. So we can monitor stuff, you know? Well, I got a hole in my glove. Brakes function. The car runs, there's gas in it. We can't go that far because the radiator leaks and we don't want it to overheat. Blinkers and taillights work. Just gotta make sure we turn on our headlights before we leave. All right, we're good. You ready to go? Oh, no wipers either, and it's currently raining. Maybe bring that with us just in case.
Our first drive in the Ford.
Yep. coolant gauge does work because it's cold right now. So brakes feel good. We have oil pressure.
It's idling a little high, but
Brakes?
fuck.
Got brakes.
Is this helping you, the light?
Dude, the flashlights on the front are doing something.
Oh, they're doing so. I guess so. Alright. They got underglow.
Yeah.
We have underglow on a 50s Ford. You're the guy who was like, let's drive this car we haven't driven in 40 years. Hit it right. Hit this neighborhood right here. Oh shit.
Oh, dude,
Hit it right.
it is pouring down rain.
You need to get out and get you a roller.
Dude, you
You
should.
can hit it around the block and I'll get you coming this way. That car sat for 35 years. Sounds pretty good. How much you gonna bet it doesn't come around this corner? How much you gonna bet? We're gonna find out. There's no taillights or nothing. Oh, here it comes. Look at the underglow. That thing's overheating, I already know it.
This thing drives mid.
It does. You got it, Jake. Line them up.
You said line them up? Dang, this thing's flying. I'll take this turn at speed.
Hit the e-brake.
I can't see anything. Oh,
I know, me
I almost
neither.
wrecked that mailbox. Oh my god. Alright, we're gonna go promptly back to Russell's house. That's alright. I'll hang my head out the window. Too bad it's raining. It's really getting in my eyes.
Nice.
Didn't overheat. Below half still.
Dude, camera's
Stinks.
wet.
It stinks a little.
Burning off the freaking dead animals that were living in it.
Right. Dude, we just drove it for like 10 minutes.
That's actually pretty cool. And it
Oh.
didn't overheat. Well, it's probably didn't overheat because there's no coolant in it. When I say overheat, I mean like explode.
Well,
Oh,
it didn't show it was getting hot.
looks good slick though. I can't wait.
Steam coming off the hood from the rain.
Wait till it's like shiny like that, always.
Well, I just popped out the old radiator in Russell's front yard here. It was leaking in multiple places. We're gonna send it to a radiator repair shop. Hopefully it's savable because new ones for these are extremely expensive to find the right one. A lot of V8 car radiators, not a lot of inline 6 flathead radiators hanging around, and they are different. There's 2 inlets and 2 outlets for the V8s. And there's only one of each for this inline 6 radiator. Ooh, still leaking some very brown coolant. Yeah, it was leaking from the seam up here by the cap, and we think probably a couple places inside of it too. So fingers crossed it can get repaired, but if I'm being honest, I'm not hopeful. But we'll see. Okay, a couple of updates on the Ford behind me. We're on to the next and basically final step of this thing. There's a couple small issues we have to button up, but basically we're on to the detailing process. I think Russell kind of started on it already. Maybe we're gonna buff and polish it tonight. We might split up and I might steel wool the chrome while he buffs and polishes. But before we get on to that, a couple of updates. This past weekend, the Ford went on its first 2 major test drives. The first one was Saturday morning. We took it to Cars and Coffee at my work, Fast Lane Classic Cars in St. Charles. Drove it all the way there. We took the back way, but we did put it on the highway for just a minute. ran great, drove great, didn't get hot. It was awesome. Got on the highway, got it up to like 70 miles an hour. Suspension wasn't making weird rattles. Engine ran fantastic, shifted smooth. Clutch was working, brakes felt good. It did puke up a little bit of coolant when we got to Cars and Coffee, but I think we may have just had it overfilled. Because the next day, Sunday, we took it on another test drive. We went to the Oktoberfest car show in Florissant, and that one was pretty special because Herman, the owner of this car, actually came out and met us and drove behind us in his truck on the way there. Got to see the car driving, running for the first time. That first time that he's seen it in person, and hung out with us at the car show for a minute, talked to us about how long he's owned it. We found out he's 91 years old, so he's getting up there, but he wants to drive this. I asked him what he plans on doing with this when we're done, and he says, I'm gonna drive it. He told me that he's owned it for over 40 years now. He couldn't remember exactly what year he bought it, but he bought it from a gentleman who inherited it from his aunt, who was the original owner. So Herman is technically the third owner, although it was one family owned before that. So really, he's like the second owner. So pretty cool story there. Yeah, hung out with us at the show, shared some memories of the car he had with us while he was looking inside of it. Also, at the Florissant car show, did not spit up any coolant, so we think it basically had burped up everything it was going to out of its system at Cars and Coffee. Also didn't overheat on the way there or on the way back to Russell's house. Didn't spit coolant up back at his house here. So I think we're all good there. The thing fires right up. Runs amazing, drives amazing, like I said. So we're gonna get on to buffing and polishing this thing. I think this paint's gonna come out pretty good, actually. Re-vacuumed the interior because we were in there on and off so many times recently, even though we vacuumed it already once. Really was for nothing. We're gonna redo that again. Again, steel wool on all the chrome, fix some of the white walls because the fake white walls are starting to peel off on the two front tires, which is really annoying us. We're gonna fix that. And yeah, I think once we're done with that, it's ready to go back to Herman, and he can enjoy this thing for hopefully many, many years to come. I know he's 91, but he gets around pretty good. He had a cane, but you'd be surprised. I didn't think he was that old. And hopefully he enjoys this, and he gets plenty of chances to drive this around. So let's get right to it.
All right, I'm gonna show you the process of bringing this paint back to life. We're doing the mow down method. The mow down method is pretty much cutting it once, cutting it twice, cutting it maybe a third time, and then following it up with a final polish. We're just really trying to get the dead layer of paint off. This car's been sitting so long, and there's actually decent paint under this to where it is getting a good result if we do that method. So it's taking a little bit longer. This is day night number 2, me and Jake buffing this thing, and we're halfway done. So, but that's just how much time it goes into buffing a car like this. So,
yeah. And there's certain areas that need more attention than others, like the tops, like the hood and the roof were a lot worse because there was stuff stacked on it, so there were scratches and stuff all over it. And the top of the car usually gets the brunt of the sun and dust and whatever else that falls on it. So the sides came out great with only like one pass. The roof and the hood were taking 2 or 3 cutting passes before we could polish it. But the half and half is crazy. I think it's gonna look really good when we're done.
I'm super excited. We haven't even touched the chrome yet. We're gonna leave that for last. And yeah, we still have the polished rust car, but we wanted to do like a 50-50 up front to kind of show you where we're at with the car and kind of explain the process. And if you have any questions about like the products we're using the roofs lineup.
Roofs on the wall over there.
I use all their stuff. I like the color coding. I like their brand. I've been using them for years, so I kind of know the results that they give me.
Cutting compound, polish, blue and yellow, crazy guys.
They also have a finer polish, and they also they have other compounds as well for DA rotary. So just a good company all around, and their buffers are amazing. I have like 6 buffers. So anyway, let's get back to it and finish this car.
Yeah, we got that half done. We're probably not going to film much of this half because it's kind of boring. Same thing you've already
You guys seen the concept.
Yeah, it's just a lot of time.
A lot of time on the buffer. right, so I just got the starter back from being rebuilt.
Oh, so by the way, we finished cutting and polishing the car, which took a couple of days because we had to do a few passes because the paint was pretty rough. And then the day we were supposed to bring the car back to Herman, the starter went out. So we had to send the starter off to get rebuilt. And then we ended up putting it back in and replacing the starter solenoid at the same time. So if this timeline here feels confusing, this is chronological, even though it is confusing. So I apologize. But thanks for watching this far anyway. I hope you enjoy the rest of it. We're almost to the end, I promise.
Now I'm going to install it. We are so close to getting this car across the finish line. After we replace the starter, we're gonna replace the starter solenoid under the engine bay, and then we're gonna do our final wash and wax and deliver it to Herman. So I'm gonna get after it. All right, to finish up the 12 volt conversion, we have to put these voltage reducers on some things in the gauge cluster. I got this kit from Shoebox Central. They sent a pack of 3 of these, which ultimately just reduces the voltage so you don't blow any fuses to complete the 12 volt conversion. I'll show you some things under the dash.
I'll take this. Also, I was doing this new starter solenoid, which is this. This is just a generic one from the parts store though, not the one for this car. And I over tightened the nut and it just completely snapped the stud off the top of it. So I put the old one back on. Hopefully the problem was the starter and not this. Or else we're gonna have to go to the store and get a new one. But this is just a generic one for like a tractor. So who knows if this was gonna work anyway. But that's why you don't use an electric ratchet for that sort of thing. You hand tighten it. Editor Jake here again from the future. Before I get flamed in the comments for trying to use a generic starter solenoid on that was kind of more for proof of concept to see if the starter solenoid was the problem. I did end up going to the store and getting the correct starter solenoid for the car and putting that on. So it has a new starter and a new starter solenoid for a 1950 Ford Deluxe sedan. So don't come at me because I replaced it and fixed it correctly. Moving on again. The more you know.
Learn something.
Yeah, everyone should learn something right now. That happens. That's bad. You can't use that anymore. Garbage.
All right, now let me show them under the dash. Under the dash is super tight, of course. I did this once in time lapse if you guys want to know, really. Oh wow, look, it focuses way better. So I still have to install the ground. I'm gonna install the ground right here on that flathead. And I have to do that to this one. I finished this one, I have to do it to that one and the one over there, which is super just hard to get to because all the wiring. Like, look at the wiring in this thing. Who did this? Anyway, let's get to it. Okay. Okay. No, it's not good.
That was good.
It's good enough. Thanks for, you're not even holding a flashlight either. What are you even holding right now?
You.
Don't worry, bro, I got you. There's more.
I'm holding you in here.
Finally wrapped up on the old Ford. We ended up pulling off the polyglass white wall inserts. The owner really wasn't too happy with how the white walls were sitting. If you're not familiar with the polyglass white walls, they're an insert that goes in between the tire and the wheel, and it gives the look of a white wall, but it's not a true white wall tire. It's a cheaper alternative from doing that. Way cheaper. I think white wall tires are $1,500. When the inserts are like $100, so you get the look of it for a way cheaper price. So anyway, that's something we ended up doing for the guy right before delivery, but I'm literally about to drop this thing off and show Herman all the work we've done. Pretty cool. If you look, I'm gonna put it in neutral, turn the key power on. It's got a push start, but it starts right up, look. Look at that. So before delivery, I also had an issue with the carburetor linkage, and now I finally have throttle response, and I fixed everything. Some of the linkage was binding on the carburetor. Must have happened during the rebuild. Honestly, it's a silly fix, but we fixed that right away, and now it runs really good, idling really well. So I'm literally about to take it to Herman's house right around the corner. Let's go. I always bring my cars that I work on and sell to this church right here. Just the stage. Feel like it's got a good ambiance in the background, quiet. It's only loud around here with my customers' cars. No power steering. Don't mind me. All right, this is gonna be interesting to shift around the tree. Oh, check me out. Oh, all right, going in a second. Woo! It's so cool that I learned stick shift on this road, and now I also learned how to drive around the tree on this road. All right, we're pulling up at Herman's. He is there. Look at that. Looks like he's outside. This is it, finally back home. Wow, this thing cleaned up really good. By far not perfect, but wow, look at the difference. It sat in that garage over there for 30 years.
Out of respect for Herman and his family's privacy, footage of the Ford's drop-off is limited. That said, it's safe to say that Herman was absolutely giddy to have his car back up and running, although not entirely surprised because he was pretty nosy throughout the entire process and stopped by multiple times to check in on our progress. But nevertheless, this was the first time that he saw the car fully detailed, and he and Russell even got to take it out on a little test drive together. This Barn Find Ford was such a fun project, and both Russell and I learned a lot about these old 50s cars along the way, and now that it's back home in the hands of its rightful owner, we just might have to find something new and old to wrench on. So stay tuned for more barn finds and car content in the future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.